Hey everybody out there, my name is Tommy and this is my channel, Counting on the Big Sleep. It's Sunday. This is I think vlog number 13. Um, just talking about the way things have been going, for this year. It's been a pretty rough year. I lost my job at 57. IRS came in and confiscated all my money out of my checking and savings. So I got to work out something there with them. Like I sent in paperwork and stuff. So hopefully I can get that straightened out. And, looking for a job. Tomorrow I have a job interview. I was supposed to have it on Thursday, but she called and canceled. And then I was supposed to have it on Friday, and then she called and canceled again. So now it's for tomorrow. So hopefully it'll go through. It is like an hour away. That's, one of the main things I don't like about it. And, it's only like around, I think, 15 or 16 bucks an hour, you know. So I'm probably gonna go check it out. And then I also have another job interview from another company. It's one I would really want to have. That's the job I want. But it might be connected to my old company who let me go, so I'm not sure if I'll even get that. But I'm gonna go to that interview definitely. That is another hour away. It's hard to find stuff close to the house here. You know, you would think. You know, they all say the economy's good, but you know, but today's Sunday. I'm outside getting some fresh air. I was gonna go to the woods, but they got it all closed off. They have some kind of festival going on over there. People, I don't know, some kind of celebration. I have no idea what it is. You know, so I figured I'd get out, do some shopping. You know, pick up a few things that I need. You know, some oil for the car and crap. You know, but yeah, it's a nice day out today. It's not too bad, not too warm. You know, really don't know much to say about these vlogs. I always have like tons of stuff in my head. Ooh, that I always want to talk about, but I always have a hard time getting stuff out. It's all locked up inside. You know, maybe I say too much too. You never notice your habits until you start filming yourself. Oh man. But today, nice day, Sunday, little fresh air. All the news programs are on, like Meet the Press and, what are those other ones? George Stephanopoulos, stuff like that. Everybody on there, I gotta stop saying Everybody on there has been complaining about the president and the tariffs. But I haven't really. I mean, I've noticed that jobs aren't as plentiful as they used to be. And it's been a long time since I've been out of work. So I was, I was employed for close to 9 years at the one company. But you know, keep on going. That's all you can do. Keep on trying. So hopefully, the job. I'll get one of the jobs tomorrow, or if not one of those, a different one. I'll probably try some temporary agencies next. But yeah, just gotta keep going. That's all. Just keep trying. What can we talk about? Went to the dollar store today. Picked up a quart of oil. Got it back into my car. Looked at it. Realized that the cap was open and the seal was broken, and most of the oil on it in it was gone. I'm like, well, what the hell, man? Someone grabbed some oil, used half of it, and put it back on the shelf. Oh, if you're gonna steal something, then steal something. Just don't put it back on the shelf for another person. Jeez, people, please. But another beautiful day, another day. Keep going. Oh, it's been rough, but I know things will get better eventually. Oh, it's just a little difficult now that, being 58. When I was younger, I used to just jump up and leave. I traveled to Florida, Phoenix. I stuck my thumb out and I hitchhiked. I was free as a bird, when I was 18, or 19, 20, in that time frame. It's hard to remember exactly how old I was. I remember my mom packing up and selling the house and moving to a small town in Indiana. And I believe I was around 18 or 19 then. And I stayed out there for about a year, but I hated it. There's not much to do besides party. Worked in a steel mill for a while, which was a good job. I liked the job. I kind of wish they were still around, But after about 3 months of working there, they went on strike. And then the strike lasted for about, I think, 2 months, good 2 months. But the owners of the place told them that, hey man, if you guys don't agree to this contract, we're going to close this whole place down. And the union called their bluff and said no, they wouldn't. And they closed that whole place down. That steel mill closed down, and we all lost our jobs. But what can you do? What can you do? I still got family out there, I talk to them sometimes, wonder how they're doing and stuff. A lot of my family members, they do a lot of hunting, living off the land a lot. I remember we used to eat squirrel a lot back then, and it wasn't really bad, You put some spices and herbs on it, squirrel tastes fine. You got some meat on their bones, legs were good. It was alright. You get a couple of squirrels, cut them up and stuff. I know it sounds weird, people living out in the city and stuff saying, you ate squirrel? Yeah, we ate squirrel. We ate squirrels, deer, lots of deer meat. Like I said, there was a lot of hunters, people who lived off the land stuff when I was living out in that area. My family members lived, in the country and stuff. My mom wanted to live out there. So, I spent about a year out there when I was younger. And then I just decided to start traveling. Saved up whatever money I could, stuck my thumb out. And, crashed in cars. Lived off friends' couches sometimes. Stayed in the YMCA. Wasn't, it was rough back then, but then I was a lot younger, and I was free as a bird. I just traveled. It was nice. It was a nice experience. It wasn't always good. It wasn't always easy. That's for sure. It wasn't always easy, but I managed to survive. And then I made it back to my hometown, close to Chicago, where I grew up. And got a job, got a place to live, and then I met my former spouse, and we had a child, and bought a house together, and then everything just fell apart after that. We were together for about 10 years, but we were on and off all the time. And now my son's he's 25, so he's grown, and I'm free again, but now I'm finding myself without a job, and I don't know, I'm not really wanting to travel again right now. And I don't know if I have that in me to just, pack up and just go. But it is a thought. But we'll see, tomorrow, new day. Go to the job interview, that one, and then go to another one on Tuesday. Like I said, both of them are about an hour away. And the one I want is the one job that I do want is the one on that I'm going to on Tuesday, because it's more in line with what I was doing before. But like I said, it might be connected to my old company, so I might not be able to get in there. But like I said, another day, another dollar. Well, no, dollar. I don't make a dollar every day. I try to make a dollar sometimes. And a lot of people say you gotta trust in God and stuff. And I when I was younger, my old man passed away when I was 5, and I was feral. Since first grade, I was out on my own. My mom would just let me walk to school and stuff. And I used to always talk to God and stuff when I was younger. But I've always got that feeling that God wants me to figure these things out myself. I mean, He's there and He's watching over me, but He wants me to figure these things out for Himself. He gave me a brain for a reason, to figure things out. So it's not just a matter of trusting God. It's a matter of trying to figure things out, trying to help yourself, trying to improve your situation. Try not to let life stress you out too much. So, and I remember the first time I went to church. First time I went to church was with my niece. And first thing they did is they separated us. I was like, oh man, I think I was about 7, 8 years old. They separated us, and then they started to tell us the story of Cain and Abel, which I found horrific. I was like, oh my god, I'm 8 years old. They're talking about a brother murdering another brother. I'm like, holy crap. And that was about one of the last times I went to church. But I mean, I've been to church since then a few times, here and there, with my family and stuff. I'm not very big on religion itself. Even though I do think there's something else going on, after you die. I think it'll be okay. I don't really believe in hell. I don't believe people will be tormented and tortured. I think, evil people, I don't know. Maybe they have to reflect on what they've done, and maybe they get destroyed, or maybe we go somewhere, or maybe we don't. I honestly don't know. I don't know what happens when you die. And I don't think anyone really knows. And I don't think there's any one true religion. I think all religions have good and bad in it. And just try to be the best person you can be, that's all. Just try to be, a little kinder, a little more empathetic to people. And see where that takes you, how your life unfolds and stuff. But, a lot of people are a victim of their own circumstances. They're born into poverty and in very violent situations, in countries that, that is not very favorable to the people. There's lots of them out there. It's a rough world. It is. But, who knows? Maybe another 500 years or 1,000 years, things will be a lot better, a lot different. I don't believe Jesus will come back in a form, like a human being. I think maybe an understanding, a knowledge, something may change into people, when they get tired of killing each other and destroying, the earth. Maybe then we'll start to rebuild and, different type of society. I do believe that there's a war coming, and it's going to wipe out a lot of people. But I think after the war and after all the smoke clears, people are going to realize that there's no one there to save them. They have to save themselves. You have to try and do better. People will get tired of, the way things are. And hopefully, people will change their attitude, maybe become more empathetic, maybe become more understanding. So we'll see. Well, I won't see. I won't be around for 500 years, that's for sure. I'm 58. Average lifespan's about 78. So if I'm an average person, I got about another 20 years left. That's just the bad part about getting old. When you're young, you're like, oh man, you feel like you got forever, and you don't really care that much. But then as you get older, you see the clock ticking, and you realize, oh man, time is catching up to you. But there's nothing to be afraid of when you die. It'll be okay. That I do believe, because everyone experiences death. So, but that's my little vlog for today, my rant. Just checking in, getting things off my chest. I did post a short. It was kind of a play on the Rick and Morty. Love is a chemical in the brain and stuff. Someone commented to me and said, "Stop posting." But I enjoy posting, and even if I do make some crappy videos, that's for sure. I some of them are really bad, but they make me giggle a little bit. Make me helps me take my mind off of things. It's a little bit of my own therapy for myself. So, well, we'll see. We'll see about the jobs tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. I probably will. I think the only weird thing about the job interview tomorrow is that I have to meet her at a Starbucks, that they don't want to show me the location of the place. That's the weird thing about it. Why we have to meet at Starbucks. That's a little weird and strange. But the job interview that I have on Tuesday is the one I really want. I'm hoping to get that one, because that's more in line to what I used to do and stuff. And I have more knowledge on that area than I do at this other one. But we will see. We'll see how it all unfolds. But yeah, that's all I got for you today. Just a little rant, not terrible rant, not complaining, not begging for money or anything. Just talking, getting stuff off my chest. Posting some videos here and there. I do have a couple other channels too that I try and post. I'm telling you, when they tell you to, that you wanted the extra income, that you should start a YouTube channel, it ain't all that's cracked up to be. It's not easy. I mean, over a third of people, bee came by, don't even make it to 100 views. And a lot of my videos don't either. They don't make it to 100 views. So it's not as easy as you think. There's a lot more to it, but they keep telling you to keep posting, keep trying. So I'll keep posting, keep trying, and see where this takes me. Hopefully, hopefully things will get better. But alright, that's all I got for you today. You guys have a great day. Don't let stress eat your life up. Try to smile a little more. Have a little empathy for your fellow human beings. And, keep trying. You may not succeed all the time. You may not succeed at all. But it's the journey. Just keep going until you can't anymore, of course. Until you turn to dust. Alright, everybody. You guys have a good night. Talk to you later. Bye.